Hopefully I have everything where it needs to be. 1, 2. Yep. There we go. So we are at the Tomb of Wraithwall. And we've already done the hard parts. And now I get to just charge through and munch stuff. Let's go. That's the wrong way again. Hang on. It's more like it. 4 times is a little bit much.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm gonna go fight the Jack of Hearts.
Fun, fun, fun.
I got
That
my
could be several video games.
Yeah. It's
The end of Act
it's
1.
Near
and
Replicant, yeah.
Or a scuffle with a
boy.
pack of playing cards.
I love Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yet without help, you and I are as nothing. Is this not so?
Or it could be the Near one, but in Final Fantasy
He thinks
XIV.
ever and always on his own profit. Assure him of it, and he shall remain
In the
true to our
Turns
cause.
video game
I do
down.
not share your majesty's trust.
We will continue this later. Now we should concern ourselves with
I love
finding
how
the
much
Dawn Shard.
Ash is like, Balthier is definitely a hardened mercenary, and provided we pay him, he'll do exactly what we want. When 1, that's not how mercenaries tend to work, and 2, it is
somewhere deep
completely wrong
within.
about Balthier as
How
well.
can you be certain?
Yeah.
It's just
I can hear its call.
blithely ignoring everything about how this character works. Oh man. The pollen's up today and my brain is just a wreck.
Oh no. I've had my window open because it's too warm, so I hope I don't end up the same.
Fucking assholes mowed the lawn in front of my window this afternoon. I did close the window at the time, but always stirs the pollen up. And it finds a way in whatever you do.
Yeah.
Yes, even if I close my window somehow.
Hmm.
Guess I got to open the door at some point.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
also, windows typically have trickle vents and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Any chests here today? There is a chest here today.
I'm just living with my regular allergies, living next to a forest with pets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over my vaccine nonsense. I was a bit eeky, and that's it.
I'll be able to
That's
book
good.
mine from tomorrow.
Your first appointment.
Yeah. They've only just got to my age. We're only just getting to my age group from tomorrow.
Oh, you're a little bit younger than I thought you were then.
Yeah.
I thought you were just my side of the line. I had mine 3 weeks ago.
No. I'm 28.
Ah,
Same age as Val?
I'm 28 this year, but that's not for 2 more months.
Close enough.
Yeah.
why do I not have Stoner yet? The spell, just to be clear.
Hey. not got any. I don't know what they're called. Softs in this, or I don't know.
The gold needles, I think. Yes.
It's time to go retrieve some vapor moss. Oh wait. Suddenly, town is under attack. We never see vapor moss again. Looking at my quests, I do have 50% quest completion because I did the one annoying one where you have to talk to the guy like multiple times. And then he's finally like, okay, I have an actual quest for you. Go get me a fluorite from the Baron Temple.
Yep. Yeah, it used to be that it was 51%, I think, quest in the first half of the game. And I spent
Yeah.
quite a lot of time faffing on Replicant, trying to get the last 1%, but actually they've just rebalanced it.
Oh,
If I touch this, a bunch of ghosts are going to appear.
I didn't do every side quest. I did a bunch, but not everyone.
Boo.
I did not have the patience.
The only one that
I
really
did
takes
all-
patience is the Lunateer one.
Yeah, but I didn't have enough patience anyway.
And the fragile delivery shit.
The fragile deliveries are a little bit on the annoying side, it's true.
I did those.
Yeah. Honestly, the funniest part about fragile delivery is that the solution becomes just bop everyone with Dark Blast.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
mash R1.
Mm-hmm.
Obtained vapor moss. Uh-oh, Emil's here. The boy who cried wolf quest was also dumb.
Oh, is that the one?
Where he runs away from home,
But it's a
and then
scam.
you... Well, it's not a scam.
Or he's a scammer or something.
Yeah, basically his dad was a fucking criminal, and he was
That's
trying to get
right.
out of the life of crime.
Yeah.
And then and he's a really good liar, or rather, the protagonist is an idiot.
Yeah. more that second thing. Let's be real.
And then on the run back from Facade, he's just like, oh look, a pack of shades. Protagonist is like, I'm not falling for that. And he goes, well, oh god, a pack of wolves. She's like, I'm not falling for that. Oh fuck, a pack of wolves.
Yep.
Anyway, I have my 4 eagle eggs
Huzzah.
for weapon upgrades. It only took me an hour and a half.
You're really gonna do all weapon upgrades?
Yes.
Dang.
I'm going to kill the shit out of this game. Hi, doll.
You do weapon upgrades. It's just that's just like you just like knock everything over really quickly.
I just went.
They
straight
also have stories attached.
I just went straight to the Phoenix Spear. On account
Yep, Phoenix Spear is busted.
Even without upgrades, the Phoenix Spear is just busted.
Yeah.
You there, doll?
Got it, and I didn't need to.
Hello.
Hello.
I just got some gear. What gear? Did
Uh,
I get?
My audio isn't too bad at the moment, is it? Because I'm
No,
on
it's
my
fine.
phone again.
It's fine.
Cool.
I've still got to do my materials grind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing absolutely nothing but watching the stream because I cannot do much because my hand hurts.
Oof.
I still
Any
like
particular
how-
or- Sorry.
I think it's probably like a carpal tunnel thing.
Oof.
Uh,
I was just
So,
gonna
yeah.
say, I really like how in the near setting, the sun never sets, and they never explain that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before the aliens show up.
Yep.
It's. I want to say I've read an explanation for that, but like that might just been like on a forum and someone talking shit.
It's in
Entirely
Grimoire
possible,
somewhere,
or
isn't it?
yeah, it's probably in Grimoire Near, but like no one. Oh, Devil is here.
Hooray, Devil! Grimoire Near is a complex document.
Yeah,
I mean, some of that worked its way back into Replicant.
Yeah.
did it?
I won't go into specifics yet.
Can we avoid stepping on this trap? No! Vossler screwed it up for. Oh, Dispel! Nice.
One thing I will say is that having a lock on completely trivializes the use of Dark Blast in a way
Yes.
that I, as an adherent
Wow.
of the original game, I do not like.
That's fair enough.
Mm.
There's the boy. There's Jack of Hearts. Look at his toes.
Great, we're 13 minutes into the stream and you're already feet posting.
I'm sorry. Did I step on your toes? It's gonna be one of those evenings, I guess. What am I doing? I'm Oh,
going to-
there's a shade sitting inside me during this cutscene
Fun.
while I get ready to punch this man in the face.
Oh my.
Nope, we ripped his arm off.
Also an acceptable strategy.
Yeah, except he grows it back immediately because shades.
How far into the game are you?
Halfway through Route 8.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, me.
Yes, you.
Coming to the end of Route A. Which is to say, like, the first... This is like the first thing after all the introductory stuff. This is the dungeon at the end of that. It's the Tomb of Wraithwall.
Huh.
I'm just about to unlock... I think it's at this point you unlock second jobs.
I don't feel like it's been that long since I played it, but that's like 4 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I have played it since... Like, I've replayed Zodiac Age since it came out, about 2 years ago.
Hmm.
But in a situation where I wasn't concentrating on it terribly hard, so...
Yeah, no, I am playing it in a situation in which I am concentrating on it very hard.
Good, that's what it deserves.
A lot of stopping to write things down.
Oh wow. I'm just gonna leave Vossler asleep in the bottom of
Well,
the
that's-
dungeon.
It's kind of my general like process of writing. 'Cause I'm preparing a blog for this,
Yeah, that's true.
and like I always like try and take as much notes while playing as possible. And I've got think about like some games I end up with more notes than others. I think for the most notes I ended up with for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Reasonable.
And yeah, but wasn't the longest piece I wrote, so
Fog?
sometimes that means nothing.
Yeah.
Not fog.
I took,
Mist.
I think, 25,000 words
see
worth
the
of
mist
notes on
with your eyes?
Tales of Vesperia when
Were
I
to
Oh,
stick
wow.
enough, you may. The nether runs
when I
deep
was
in this
planning a
place.
really in-depth project on that game, which I still haven't actually done anything
So,
with.
is the mist dangerous?
I
Still have the
there's
notes.
only
It is
about six.
also innate.
I only had about
Condensed
6,000
mist
words
allows
and
the
notes on
working of
7 Remake.
powerful magics.
I
I'll keep
really
that in
was like
mind.
absolutely fine-toothed comb noting everything down,
Can't count on Vaughn to keep track of these things.
and then I
Yeah.
kind of ended up with like too much stuff, and I couldn't find useful ways of organizing it.
That's what happens. I mean, with my notes, is like I'll have so much, and then realizing, well, some of this is just observations. It doesn't relate to anything else.
Yeah.
And it's about like just picking out what actually goes together. It's right to have something consistent.
Not the way I was intending to go. I think I intended to go this way.
And to be fair, sometimes in the notes I write the same thing more than once because I've forgotten about it already.
Yeah, that also happens. Even worse is when you write down two things and they contradict each other,
Yes.
which is very
I
easy with
took-
a long game.
My process with notes is just to write stuff down, and then like, if anything relates to something else on my notes, try and write it near it, so I'm not. So I feel like that sometimes doesn't contradict anything too much. It does get harder once the notes become bigger.
Yeah.
The worst idea I had was to structure my notes for Final Fantasy XI like a diary,
Yeah.
because that meant having to then sort out everything and like put everything in order. Like, well, what's this to do with? What's that to do with? And I'm never doing that again.
Yeah. Diaries sound like a great idea for like game crit stuff. It's like, oh yeah, I'll just like record what it was like to live with playing this game for however long. And then you realise that actually that's just probably going to be really opaque.
Unless you're literally like putting these out on like a schedule, and like people seeing the progression of certain things is like the point of it. It's useless for note taking.
Yeah. Like your immediate responses to a thing are not the only data you need to talk about a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think that probably the best way of note taking is to just keep like a video record of the game, so you have textual like records, and also if you record your own commentary alongside it, you have your immediate thoughts on the game, and then you can probably work out anything that you didn't actually say out loud.
Yeah.
If you're doing that though, you do have to spend some effort like actually indexing the videos, because like I was doing that
Yeah.
with travel notes for years, and honestly the videos
Yeah.
are not terribly useful.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
I try and take.
themselves.
I will try and take screenshots generally.
Hmm.
They don't necessarily like immediately have the note relate to them, but like I'll put the note down, and like when I'm browsing through the screenshots, the two might relate, and if not, it's
Yeah.
fine. I don't need to be exhaustive,
Yeah.
because that was a problem I was running into when I was trying to do these vlogs. Is I was trying to touch on like a broad sense of what everything is in the game, and it
Running
ended up
afoul of
being
the
like,
problem of game dev just being too much.
yeah, or it just like it didn't. It kind of became like I would like write about one thing, but not like focus on it, and just like I feel like the broader overview is less interesting to me personally than like focusing on like particular aspects and what they have to say. Some games like though like you can talk about the broad overview and like relate it to everything just because of how well they're put together.
Yeah.
Like some it's easier to do that with, and it's just easy to just like tie everything together.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
also a thing where
struggle.
like multiple playthroughs really helps.
Yes. Or just like a game you already know, and of like already start writing the notes before you're playing it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Anytime you can go
like
into
I-
a thing and you've already got the questions set that you want
Yes.
to answer, that's much easier. Like, oh, this
That-
time I'm
I
going to
think-
look at this.
Yes, I
Um,
think that's why my Final Fantasy X piece turned out how it did.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or even not necessarily just like specific, but like just like going into Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced recently, just with the expectation of what Tactics was and what like Final Fantasy is, like the experience can help, and
Yeah.
it's not even necessarily just an experience of Final Fantasy; it could be experience with anything else.
Hmm. I think like
Yeah.
Tactics Advanced specifically, there are so many things distinctive to it being a Matsuno game with a Final Fantasy branding on it. That gives you a huge
Yeah.
amount to like structure it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's on it as producer, but the like use of producer and director is very fluid.
Yeah.
In like, because like for example, there's a lot of YouTube reviews that will tell you, oh, Final Fantasy VI is the first game where Hironobu Sakaguchi stepped down as director because he's credited as producer instead of director on that game.
Yeah.
But there was a book I read, Chris Kohler's Final Fantasy V book, in which he actually interviews Sakaguchi. And he basically says, yeah, I was doing the same job, I just changed the title because I thought producer sounded cooler. Made me sound like a movie guy.
Yeah, especially with those earlier games, like that phase of the industry where a lot of
Yes.
you know, it wasn't quite bedroom coders anymore, but it was people who learned what they knew from bedroom coders.
Yeah. And people who could, like, well, Square being a company originally owned by some other electric company or whatever, like not formed from a game company.
Shouting challenges at the gods, but prevail they did not.
And like
Their doom it was to walk the mist and
Final Fantasy VI taking like a year to be made or whatever.
Of the Nemo.
The things were a
My
lot
family
smaller.
tells a story
Yeah.
of the Dynast King and an Esper. The story goes that in his youth, the Dynast King defeated a mighty Gigas, for which the gods took heed of him. Thereafter, it was ever bound to him in thraldom.
Are the Nemo in this game?
Yep.
All
Yeah.
this time it's been here guarding the Dynast King's
They
treasure.
give you.
They don't take. Yeah, they're not very prominent, but they are there.
The Esper
They're
is
involved
the
in a
Dynast
couple of
King's
quite
treasure.
important side quests.
That's your treasure.
Okay.
Mostly to
In
get
this
espers.
Esper we now command rests a power
And also,
and
they hang out
wisdom
around
beyond
Clan
measure.
Centurio.
Sorry.
Is that
Sorry.
so?
The
Old-fashioned, but I was hoping for a treasure whose worth we
the
couldn't
clan,
measure.
the
Oh,
the hideout in.
There's one in the clan hideout. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The main quest, the main side quest that they're involved in is the one in the Nebreus Deadlands, and with the optional bosses in the Necrol of Nebadis. Let's go.
Sorry. I don't actually remember what the fucking hunting clan in this game is called because my brain is like, oh, the Hunt clan, Clan Centurio from 14,
It is
also
Clan
run by
Centurion.
Mooples.
Yeah,
Okay, it
it
is.
is Clan Centurion.
I'm not losing my mind entirely.
It's
Yeah.
not Clan Nutsy, which
What?
is the one from Tactics Advance.
Okay.
Your Majesty, we must go.
Well, the default name. You can choose the name.
Okay. I was a little bit confused for a moment there. What does Mont
This
Blanc
is also
do in FFTA? Because that's the first game he's in, right?
He's your friend.
Ah, okay.
He doesn't do a lot. He's the like first person you meet who's friendly,
Ah, okay.
because you're trapped in well, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is an isekai.
That's right.
You all get trapped in the game Final Fantasy, which is remarked upon in the game.
Fun.
Game's good. I actually really liked it.
I am glad that DC Douglas still hams the fuck up out of these Grimoire Noir lines. We are mere books. Fucking Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy the few DC Douglas things I know.
He's a good Albert Wesker.
Yeah, shame that probably wouldn't ever use them again,
Mm-hmm.
considering Capcom is currently dedicated to using non-union actors.
Ah, right. I see.
Yeah.
Oh well.
This book's about to start talking about complete global saturation.
Fun, fun, fun.
I really love Wesker's coat in RE5. Like the matte and shiny black checkerboard pattern.
God.
It's so good. Oh,
Such a
here's
shame
the
of-
title screen line. Kaine, go!
Way.
It's a
The
shame
best
about
monologue
so much
video
else in.
games.
It's a shame about so much else in Resident Evil 5.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Right, time to get dunked.
Oh boy.
Only in a cutscene, it's fine.
Of course. Oh, and I think I did make a mistake by not having a healing class at the start of the game.
I did say!
I went through a lot of I survived. I've gone through a lot of potions.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably just as easily change someone's class.
Yep.
So it's not like it affects stat growth, does it, in this?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
All the stats are via licenses and levels. So,
Yeah.
There's a little bit
'Cause,
of
I mean-
randomness in the stats, but it's not affected by anything.
Okay, cool. Because I have just, like, it does affect stat growth in Tactics Advance, so I've just come off a game where it does that.
You left us with such great
But I think that's generally how the tactics games work.
I had begun to worry that we may have given your majesty some cause for offense.
Such a heartfelt display of remorse. Now what is it you want?
a small child promising to chase someone till the end of time rings different after remembering that Drakengard 1 and literally
That is a base imitation.
one of the endings is time stops because of what's his face.
Which
of the Dynast King.
judges this guy again?
The site.
This is Geese.
Did you not tell them,
Yes.
Captain Azalus?
Majesty, he speaks of the Dawn Shard. That is the Nethicite.
Betrayal.
Oh, the guy played by Zaphod Beeblebrox.
If we are to save Dalmasca, we must accept the truth. I
What?
will fight this profitless
Yeah,
battle
it's
no
the same
more.
voice as Zaphod Beeblebrox from the Hitchhiker's radio play.
Captain Azalus has struck a wise bargain.
What?
In
Geese
return
is?
for the Dawn Shard,
Yeah.
the Empire will permit
Wow.
Lady Ash to reclaim
It's
her
Markland
throne,
Davey.
and the kingdom of Dalmasca will be
Amazing.
It is the same voice with a different accent
restored. An entire kingdom for a stone. You must admit.
as
is
well.
more than a
Because I
fair
listened to those
exchange.
plays recently.
And
Huh.
when all is said and done, your master will have another pet.
Lady Ash, let us
Tell you
take
what,
him for
most
the
of them
people of
probably not worth
Dalmasca.
listening to.
Your Majesty wallows in indecision on
Fair enough.
peril of their
Past
You
the
mean
first
the
couple
originals
seasons
or
anyway.
the
and
original
his shall be the first to
broadcast?
fall.
I
At
mean,
least your sword is to the point.
Like the 1980s
I mean, there's
ones.
yeah, the 80s. Well, it's the same actors in all of them. Like some changes because of time, but he's in all of them. All
I'm
6
just-
seasons of
The
them.
relics of the Dynast King were day-affected nethicite. Dr. Sid will be beside himself.
What did
But
you
yeah,
say?
it's the same voice with a more
Captain Basilis,
very
take them
obviously
to
fake
Shiva.
American accent in
They should have leave to
Hitchhikers.
return to Rabanastre soon.
God, the facial
want
acting
you to
has
assess
so
its
much
power.
detail in this version.
Did our orders not specify that we return
It's
the stone for
ridiculous.
testing?
It's
I want a
absurd.
chance returning with a stone that is yet
Like-
unproven.
They didn't add this in the new version.
Yeah.
This is in the original.
This
And you
is-
just couldn't see it because it was on standard definition CRT.
Yeah,
What the hell
Well,
are they doing?
a lot.
Time to... All of your magical powers have been taken away. Oh no, the Shadow Lord.
Time to hit things with a big stick. I love how delicate the airships look. They're like really, really fragile structures.
When we return to Dalmasca, we can announce that you are alive and well. I will then continue our negotiations with the Empire. I believe Lars has the key. He'll listen to us. We should trust him.
Who are you, Vossler, to talk of trust?
A son of Dalmasca.
Right.
Our equipment here is limited, so we'll be using the ship's drive to make our assessment.
You know what you should
Once we've
never
collected the
do
stone, the reaction should be easily
is
measured.
put
Do not
What?
interest me. Only
magical
results.
ancient relics of the Dynast King into your largest ship's main engine. That is not going to end well.
The mist, it's burning.
6,800.
Yes.
Yeah, Dark Blast again.
7,000. This must be Deifacted Nethicite. The count still climbs.
Ah, we found it at last. True day-affected nethicite. The power of the Dynast King in my hands. Blood alone does not an emperor make. Vain.
What is this? Something's wrong.
Oh Lord.
Deifacted nethicite. Just some turns of phrases in this game are just really fun to say.
Deifacted is pretty good.
What's that? Or manufactured, isn't it?
What's wrong with her?
I always knew Fran didn't take well to being tied up. I just never knew how much. How about you?
I like Fran's idea. Let's get out of here.
Balthier's tacit admission that
No farther!
he and Fran are definitely not doing it because he doesn't know how much she doesn't like being tied up.
Of course.
Maybe it's just a tacit admission that he's always the one being tied up, which is very likely, honestly.
You must know where it leads.
I do know. All too well.
Not that he'd ever admit that in front of any sentient being, including Fran.
He strikes me as the person who just never asks.
I might have just cast Dark on a reflected Vossler, but never mind.
I'm gonna beat the magic out of you, you stupid book.
That is how it works in that game.
Yep.
Magic is stored in the pages. Vossler on low HP and Bash with a katana, so they're both getting loads of combos at 2 times speed is quite funny.
Engine power falling rapidly.
Dives directly into a spear of blood. Whoops.
What are they doing down there?
Happened.
The Nethicite's draining the ship's power.
Disengage it
I like how much Gormnar doing a giant spiky attack just looks like a vertex error.
Ash, let's go.
All I have done, I've ever thought of Dalmasca first. I know you do. I would ne'er gainsay your loyalty.
Look on what my haste has wrought. Did I act too quick? Or was your return too late? I
Fuck
can
you,
serve her
Gosler.
no more. You must take up my charge.
Boo. It's alright, he's gonna get blown up in a second.
Soon it will be time to never hear the young protagonist again.
Huh.
This might get a little dicey.
The mist. It manifests now.
Is that what you call this?
Just in case there was any doubt that this game is about nuclear weapons.
Yep.
What's that? I think it's the Dawn Shard.
What are we waiting for?
Fast forward the months it takes us to cross back through the desert.
The dreadnought Leviathan is sunk. The 8th fleet of the Arcadian Imperial Army lost. As word of the events in the yacht sounded throughout the Empire, quit I Bujerba, citing sudden malady. My true motive.
This is months are supposed to have taken place now.
There's a time skip here, not a big
Oh.
one. And it's not actually so much
She had not, however,
it's not so much actually the return to Rabanasta as it is like the characters decide to lay low for a bit while they figure out what to do. And you have this narration where the Marquis of Bujerba talks about what he's up to, where he's like, basically he's left Bujerba and is going around trying to speak to all the different anti-Arcadian groups.
It would serve only to invoke the Empire's wrath. Though Arcadia had lost her 8th fleet, she remained, as ever, a military power with which to be reckoned.
It's a game.
I mean, I'll get to this point stuff soon.
Yeah.
So no, carry on.
It's a game that trades really well on, like, the fact that there isn't an internet in this setting, because lots of times things happen and then people take a while to hear about them or don't know about them. It doesn't have the magic plot force that so many fantasy video games have, where just miraculously everybody knows what's happened.
Do you know what, like, seems to have that problem? Like, have a problem of people not hearing things is Final Fantasy 15. They take so long to find out about the king's death.
Yeah, when, like, they very visibly do have an internet and smartphones and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game is weird, but also I think that's what happens when you, like, assemble a game in 2 years out of the wreckage of a 12-year project.
Also throw all of the other aspects of the game into several other transmedia projects.
Yeah, God.
And commission a special car for the occasion.
I'm so mad about the car, still! Also, I want to know who bought it.
Then,
if you are out there and you know who bought the $500,000 Final Fantasy 15 tie-in car, please tell me.
Also, basically trying to do a sequel to that game through the DLC that never panned out, and had a stream to announce that it was cancelled.
Yeah, that never works. When has that ever worked? Was it like Half-Life 3 kind of problem?
A most lamentable situation.
It was the fact that everyone left.
Yeah, because they were all burnt out or half dead.
Yeah.
Yay, now we have two-handed swords.
And they took the rest of what they had and made it into a book.
They've given so much attention to this guy's hand stroking his beard, and even in this version, it's not in focus. It's the most detailed beard stroke in video games.
God.
What matter?
You can
Video-
tell that,
like, this is
you can tell that this is where Square Enix's dev practices kind of started to spiral out of control scope-wise.
I mean, when this game came out, it was a world record holder for longest development time.
Yep.
6 years, which is small compared to some games. Small compared to
15.
some
among
other.
others.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah, I mean,
By your will, I shall bid Vayne return to Arcades.
this is also like the period in which Spirits Within happened. So
Yes, Spirits Within happened.
Square Enix were a little bit getting too big for their boots.
Spirits Within is a weird movie.
I've still not seen. I really need to watch it. But
if the Spirits Within was a video game, right, it'd be one with tank controls where you run through facility corridors. Like, it feels like it's an adaptation of a PS1 survival horror more than it does of Final Fantasy.
Interesting. Is it actually spooky? Like
No.
Okay.
Like, it's not. I mean, film's rated PG.
That has not always been a guarantee that I won't find it spooky. To be fair.
True.
I am easily spooked.
I want to say there's stuff I've definitely found spooky that's rated PG, because that's, again, very relative.
Sorry, what? I tuned out for a second. What was rated PG?
I'm nothing in particular, but I was saying I've seen things that are rated PG that are fairly spooky, just not violent.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. But like, like in terms of the world and like what everything looks like and what the things they're up against are, it feels like something out of the design document of a survival horror game.
Fun.
Or like a horror action game.
No wonder they invaded.
Kind of makes me more keen to watch it, honestly.
It's very interesting. It's not a good movie. It's a bunch of Hollywood actors who are bored out of their minds. You got Alec Baldwin and Steve Buscemi.
God, really? Amazing.
Yeah. I think Donald Sutherland might be in it as well.
Very well. Then the path set before us is clear. We'll use the Dawnshard to fight them.
But yeah, it's a strange thing that exists and is fascinating, and
With sword in hand, she aids her allies.
it's weird because people say like, "Oh, this is like the thing." Like as soon as this movie comes out, Sakaguchi's out, but it's like a few years between the two events.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a few years where like the company's failure to make the film profitable, and also the start of FF14 as a project as well. Often gets cited in the conversation, even though I don't think the timelines line up. Because FF14's after FF12, right? That's a stupid sentence to have to say, but video games are weird.
It's. I want to say like the people who are from the 12 team are the people that went on to Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
14 was under development since 2005.
Right, that's just before this comes out, but it's definitely after
beyond our smooth
Spirits
lane.
Within.
Not exactly
Mhm.
close.
And then it was its own
Sakaguchi,
issue.
Straight to the point,
Sakaguchi
Asa.
left
I like
in
that.
time to get 2
Compensation.
games out
How
in like
about the ring?
2007
This?
at
Isn't there
Mistwalker.
something else?
No
Um,
one's
Yes, but I want to say it's like around the time they transitioned to Square Enix is when he leaves, maybe?
Oh, he left because of the merger. Interesting.
No, I don't think that's why he
Well,
left,
no,
but
like
it's around
the time of the merger. That would be.
because there are some
back to you.
Square
soon as I
Enix
find
games
something
he's
more
credited
valuable.
on still,
Hmm.
but those are kind of
What do you mean something more valuable?
like how long he's been there.
Hard to
Like the last
say.
one he's got
I'll know
a
when I find it. What is it you want, Vaughn? What are you looking for?
executive producer credit is 10-2.
What am I looking for?
about
Yeah, I remember he was
2003.
on that. Yeah.
Well, you know,
And only has a special thanks on 12.
Hmm.
They changed the spear attack.
But
The Gareth are said
I
to
don't know.
dwell
Nobody's talking about his new game Fantasian.
We'll need to head south. past
You mean the
seen
one
it.
where you can
It is the range
shove all of the grinding to the back and just do it all at once later, but you still have to do it all at once instead of pacing it out? Like, good
Yeah.
new feature.
Regardless, we must go south, yes?
It's
I've seen a few
weird.
people talking about it.
things first.
I was
That's
trying to
the
look into
dioramas
like
one, right?
But we should see that
yes, I was trying to look into like
Pass
who is actually
I made
working
my
on that
resolve
game.
2 years ago.
Mm.
I swore to overcome any hardship
And
I
it
may
because like
face.
Mistwalker
cannot live by
historically
resolve
haven't
alone,
like
princess.
developed a lot of games themselves fully.
Yeah.
Because like Blue Dragon was like Artoon. In fact, the director of Blue Dragon is from Artoon.
Yeah.
Lost Odyssey was Feel Plus, which is a studio it actually initially set up for the development of Lost Odyssey.
God, that was a waste of effort.
Made up of a bunch of ex Saknoth people.
Huh. Saknoth is Shadow Hearts, right?
Yes,
That I can kind of see, actually.
especially with the whole like ring stuff in that battle system.
God, yeah, fuck. I can see it, and I kind of wish I couldn't. I like the first Shadow Hearts game.
I need to get back and play it at some point. I'd like to play Blue Dragon soon as well, actually.
That game is worth playing. It's me, the
I will
world's biggest Blue Dragon fan.
I'll probably end up playing Lost Odyssey as well.
Boo. Sorry.
Even though I've tried a few times. And just like the pace of battles in that game is just, it's too slow.
It's just an incredibly stodgy game, and it really like. No, that's not what I wanted to do. It doesn't want you to play it. It's just a collection of set pieces, and it wants you to complete the set pieces. And bah is all I have to say about that, frankly. Like,
I guess it's like learning the wrong lessons out of like the era of Final Fantasy Sakaguchi was leaving.
Yeah, like,
because I mean, those games are like, they're not entirely set pieces, but they're like, pacing is driven by them.
Yeah. I really think that in different ways, both of those first two Mistwalker games are really influenced by the situation of being primarily developed for the Xbox 360, which nobody had in Japan relative to the Western install base.
Yeah.
What gambits should I get? I feel like
I mean that always tends to like Microsoft around like the start of any console cycle will be like, we're getting into Japanese games now, and we're putting our money behind these.
Yeah.
And then it tends to last a few years, and then it kind of like peters out by the end.
Yeah, the underlying demographics just don't shift.
Yeah. I think at the moment, because of the huge change in what Xbox is now, because it's like their big deal is a subscription service.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the big target for everything. So who knows if that affects anything? I mean, Final Fantasy 12 is on there at the moment. Yeah, I don't think they haven't bought any developers, have they, that are Japanese recently?
I don't think so. Wasn't who was Square Enix mooted to be merging with in that one weird rumor that went around?
There was a weird rumor that like Microsoft were either going to buy Sega or Square Enix.
That's right.
Yeah, the main thing was Square Enix was supposedly on the market ?
Yeah, that's right.
Which is, Western journalism for. We want something to happen with Square Enix.
Yeah.
They're doing all right.
Yeah. Very hard to imagine like Square selling the whole company. I can imagine they might try to offload their Western games operations, like the IDOS bits.
Because they've not done as well as they'd liked, really. A lot of them. Because every single Tomb Raider, like they make one, and then there's a news story about how it underperformed. Then there's like, well, they sold off Hitman. I mean, they let them spin off into their own company.
Oh, they did. That's probably for the best, but like.
Yeah. And I mean, Deus Ex is gone. Thief never went anywhere. Trying to think of other, like specifically IDOS. I guess Just Cause is still going.
Yeah.
I still remember the first time I tuned into a Square Enix E3 presentation and was confronted with Just Cause. I just had no fucking idea what world I'd stepped into.
And they still have Life is Strange, I guess.
And still producing new entries.
Yeah. It's weird because like definitely like a lot of their like E3 press conferences is like very much geared to that Western side of the games development.
Yeah, they've got
what's that?
They've got a big press conference on. It's always on my birthday as well. It's always Square Enix shit on my birthday, and it's always the Western shit, and I don't care.
What's your birthday soon?
Sunday.
13th.
Oh.
13/6. The unluckiest date.
Nice. It's oh, they got that. What's that game from People Can Fly?
Outriders?
Yes, that's the one. That's Square as well, isn't it?
Yep. I knew that one because I played it and I enjoyed it. It's a very solid 7.5 out of 10.
And I'm guessing they're not doing anything else with Balan Wonderworld.
Yeah, probably not.
Considering Yuji Naka, left the company. Which...
Right. I just picked up a bunch of hunts and I didn't actually stop to pay attention to which ones of them were in Rabanasta.
Nice.
So they will now eat a short intermission. While I try to figure out which one. That one's in Rabanastre. That's Sorbet. That one's done. Oh.
Have you not done the first hunt?
Oh, I haven't actually turned it in. Whoops.
No, I did. I made the same mistake as well for a while. Like, I only just talked to the guy, like, oh, I've turned it in now.
Yeah. I don't need the rewards. That one's not here. That
Yeah,
one's not here.
but I don't know, it annoying me.
Yeah. I never look into that part of the menu except to check for hunts that I need to do, which I haven't been doing because, like, this is the first big unlock of hunts. Like, there are a few dribs and drabs before this point, but where's the guy?
Yeah, like the second time you go back to, the first time you like go back to Rabanastre, after the Nalbina dungeon.
Yeah.
Whoa, what the
Like,
fuck? There's a
one
boat here.
extra hunt.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the boat was just gonna be here on Seafront's beach. Wow.
Yep, it's just there. Hope you got all your black pearls. I like how they make wine from snakes in this setting.
I mean, they make wine from
Weird.
snakes in real life. It's not very, like, it's a very niche wine, but it exists.
Huh. Do a stream where I try snake wine.
Ugh, no.
I mean, I tend to like quite, like, intensely flavored wines, so I have weird taste.
Why'd it have to be snakes?
Snakes are lovely.
Yeah, but not when you're drinking them.
Have you ever drunk a snake?
I'm a vegetarian.
Well then, how do you know? Where the fuck is Balzac?
It's not a taste thing.
I think it's this way.
Sorry, I can be that vegetarian sometimes.
It's fair enough. It's this way. Character whose name is definitely not Ballsack, even though I want to make that joke literally every time I see it.
Such as the curses of every fantasy character named Balzac.
Yeah.
It's just like everyone sees that name, and it's like, I feel like not many people can see that name for the first time and not like slightly giggle to themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
do I have 3 of the? Is that one? Yes, I remembered to buy the accessory for that hunt.
Nice.
Because otherwise, it's a massive faff. Where do I want to go? I want to go this way and speak to a Moogle. Maybe I don't want to speak to the Moogle.
oh,
I think I do.
yes.
Oh god.
I just like remember that like relocalization of like Final Fantasy VII, which gives the Moogles a different name.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's like some retranslation of like Final Fantasy VII someone did like a few years ago.
Yeah, we talked
tries
about
to
that.
be-
Oh right, I thought
Yeah.
you meant an official one. I didn't realize it
No.
renamed the Moogles.
No, there's completely unofficial, tries to redo everything, but like doesn't follow the Final Fantasy style guide.
It's fair enough.
Yeah. Unlike the Crossbell Trails translation, which made an effort to go back and patch style guide back in when they got official reference points in Trails of Cold Steel 4, which I still think is very cool.
The
it's a
Dragon
huge amount of
Quest.
effort, but
Yeah.
it's impressive.
It's like Dragon Quest. Some Dragon Quest fan translations are like the worst for this, where like they won't use like the standard spell names.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, wait, what does this do again?
You have to relearn an entire toolkit.
Yeah.
I already know. I've already tried to learn like 3 different fantasy series' spell
naming
terminology.
conventions, Yeah.
I've already got like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and Shin Megami Tensei committed to mind.
God, I've never managed to learn the SMT spell naming conventions.
When you spend a few hundred hours of Persona, you end up doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I played Persona 3 and SMT 3. But there are so many names in those series. Like,
There's still like the basic elemental ones though. Like none of the buffs I can remember.
Yeah, I can't tell you the difference between. I was gonna name a couple and then I forgot like half of them.
yeah, I'm not even gonna
in the
try.
middle of the sentence.
I'm not even gonna try.
Like Rakukaja is defense up, Tarukaja is attack up. Something else is evasion and accuracy up.
Which one's Sukaja? Is that one? Or
Yeah, that's
I can't fucking...
Tsukukaja.
We'll get there as a team.
I will contribute precisely nothing to this effort. Because my...
Like any group project,
Hey!
there's always someone.
Normally,
There's
I
always someone.
contribute a lot to group projects, but anything that requires verbal memory for nouns is, you know, just don't bring me onto the team. Bad idea.
I'm like, I have a good memory for that sort of stuff, but then also I don't like branding as a thing. So I'm like sometimes torn between like, well, a fire spell is just a fire spell when I'm writing about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
Which area is this area? Or is the next one?
Alright, time to rush off to Facade and unlock the fast travel ports in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
And then also get my spear. And then go see how much bullshit I need to upgrade it in Junk Heap.
I think I ever used the fast travel in Facade.
Not in Facade, in the desert.
Oh, desert, yeah. No, I don't think I ever used
also
the
also
desert.
the one in the Facade.
Yeah.
You can get right around on the sand skiff.
You can. It's not very fast, relatively.
But it's not fast, yeah.
I mean, it's marginally faster than walking from the front to the King's Palace.
True. I quite enjoyed like just running and jumping around in Facade though.
Fucking,
Yes.
that's what I wanted to bring up. Facade reminds me of Sonic Adventure. There's that one section in, I forget which stories, but you go
It's
to
in a
like the
few.
ancient, the ancient Echidna City.
Yeah. I
just
see what you
reminded-
mean, but it's like an inverted version of that.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Do you folks see like the rumors of like what the next Sonic game is going to be like?
I don't trust rumors, and I don't trust anything anyone says about Sonic ever.
But some of them, like, it's weird. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose it's not worth trusting all of them.
I mean,
Wait,
if you told me that the Sonic game was gonna come out and there would be a Sonic OC creator and the vocalist for Hoobastank did the main theme, I would not have believed you, and that turned out to be true. So,
I mean, there's precedent for pop punk vocalists in Sonic games.
I'm aware of Jared, but it's still just like that was like a bridge too specific and far.
Yeah.
To include the OC creator.
God, if only they gave Sonic Forces a budget.
Yeah.
If only they gave any Sonic game in the last 15 years a budget.
The entire budget went to fucking paying the vocalist for the fucking the guest vocalist, and then they had to make the rest of the game on a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
What a world we live in.
Yes, we have like fucking Sonic 06 being made by the incredible shrinking design team.
Oh my god. That reminds me, I was watching a 2-hour video on Y2K, aka Yeek, and
Oh god.
there's an ending that is literally not accessible in the game, and that was on like a very thinly disguised developer YouTube. I was like, wow, we found the hidden X ending of Yeek.
What a bub.
Here's the fucking funny part. That basically, that ending rips off Sonic 06, and what's-his-face goes back in time to prevent the entire game from happening.
Wow.
You know, that's a game I'd entirely forgotten the existence of until you just mentioned it.
Yeah. The funniest part to me is that the video I watched on it was 2 hours long because it went into a lot of depth.
Yeah.
One of the tangents they went on is the fact that they revised the ending after. So basically, the devs of the game. Yeah, it's hard to forget about Yeek entirely.
I try very hard.
Yeah. So basically, during the development of the game, their mom got diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
And like the last few months of her life was spent like trying to take care of her and also develop the game. And
Yeah.
when they were working through their grieving process, they came back to the game and they felt that they needed to like add more humanity, but someone found the cut ending and it's so much less cynical. It's just like,
oh,
what did you do? What made you take away this point where the protagonist goes, I've been a shit person, I want to find a universe where like I can be a better person. Thank you for helping me get through this, to the player. And go for the, actually, all of you, including the player, haha, fourth wall break, you are also the problem. You are Alex. You are the pain in the ass protagonist. I don't understand how that game got made in its current form. Like, I don't, they needed like 17 editors.
I played it at a convention once, like just a demo.
Mm-hmm.
And it like had a problem where you could back out of an attack, but you still wouldn't back out of the attack, so you could just like stack attacks.
Oh my god.
It was a bizarre glitch. Like it made it unplayable at the time. So I was like, well, I can't get a read on this game because like it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I think that wasn't the only game I broke when I was there.
Yeah. Apparently there was basically an attack that cost very little, like, attack resource points, the side points, whatever, but basically let you get off a normal attack.
Okay.
Lets you get off a normal attack on an entire group of enemies.
There's an exit over here somewhere. Where is it?
So, that is very good for just doing a lot of damage. And, apparently, if you actually play the game well enough, it, like, straight up breaks the scaling and that move will straight up one-shot the final boss. Because
Nice.
it just... Like, the boss has 5,000 HP, and the footage the guy showed was like, this is me after 25 hours of playing this game and, like, barely putting the effort into min-max through the leveling system, and here's this boss with 5,000 HP, and here's me doing 4,900 HP in one turn.
Wow.
And here's
It
the thing.
reminds me...
The ultimate boss, like, the thing that's, like, supposed to be, like, unwinnable. Like, there's an unwinnable boss fight that you have to sidestep with a fucking puzzle.
Of course.
Quote
there
unquote
is.
puzzle.
Ah.
The whole thing is like you're supposed to break these glass pillars on either side of the boss, and then the boss fucking one-shots you, and you lose. But if you do this attack, it breaks the script, and it's an unwinnable fight, so you have to let him whittle you down naturally.
Amazing.
God.
How
Absolutely. Yes.
It, for some reason, it reminds me of like the end of Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, where you can beat the final boss with Integer Overflow by casting Cure on him.
Or Saga 1, where you can chainsaw God.
God.
Chainsawing God is good.
Yes.
Maybe I should go back and play. I should try Saga 1.
It's a fun time. I enjoyed it a lot.
I have been playing Saga Frontier. That game is good. I really like that game. But I'm making my way slowly through it. Which is probably the best way to do that game.
Yep. I'm in a mood to finish a bunch of video games, but I also just started playing Binding of Isaac with the intent to get 100%, so...
Well, you did say you're in the mood to finish.
Yeah. I only have several hundred hours ahead of me, it's fine. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna finish Replicant 100% at least. And I'll cheat the Lightspeed Fighter achievement if I need to.
I'm like... At some point, I'm in one of those moods where I feel like I need to play something that's not an RPG.
Yeah.
But all the RPGs are coming out at the moment. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ow! I got poisoned! Oh
Another
no!
World Ends With You game out next month somehow.
God.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Same. Balthier gets
I was...
Bowbreaker because I don't understand what it's for.
Bowbreaker was meant to be like one of the few ways that you can get reliable breaks and withers and addles and stuff.
That's right, yeah.
The I've actually been watching the World Ends With You anime. It's not good.
Yeah, I've heard about it from friend Adrian, who is also playing the original on hardware.
Yeah. It feels like for the anime they've toned down Neku a lot. I mean, he's still the same character, but like he's not quite as bad as he is in the game.
Oh my god, I just found a fucking Drakengard 3 reference in this fucking Nier video game. How dare they?
Hey.
I got a loading screen thing that was like, wow, this weird shopkeeper kept pulling a lot of things out of her bag. She said her name was Accord. That's a Drakengard 3 thing.
Oh, that's Drakengard 3.
I thought it was something like that. It seemed like that was a real specific pull, but like I didn't know because I haven't played Drakengard 3.
Yeah, Drakengard 3 is weird. Its fourth wall breaks are weirder. Accord is basically like the robot that controls the timelines. And she appears as a shopkeeper.
That's fun.
mean, because I don't know if I want to try and get into any of the Drakengard games because I'm not sure I'd have fun.
Just watch Val's video from like 4 years ago.
Oh, I did watch that video.
It's old and bad, and I would need to remake it. It needs some editing work.
There are like interesting things about Drakengard. Maybe in isolation, I hate playing that game.
Yeah, it's not fun to play. Like, the only way I derive enjoyment out of it is by turning my brain entirely off. But I'm also the weirdo who beat that game twice.
Yep.
Ooh. I mean, I beat Shadow the Hedgehog twice. I couldn't do that now.
I beat Shadow the Hedgehog 4 times.
Oh, nice. When you say beat, do you mean
true ending?
Like true ending, yeah. Yeah, I did that twice.
Yeah.
Penelo now has 3,000, almost 3,000 HP total.
Nice.
Because
Night
Monk is a slightly daft combination.
I specifically got like the ending a second time because a friend of mine couldn't be bothered to do all of the endings for the game. And I deleted my save, so I made him a new save to transfer over.
God.
I don't think he finished it. He borrowed my copy of Kingdom Hearts for like 6 months and never really played much of it. I also then I think I borrowed his copy of Wrath of Cortex, Crash Bandicoot, for 6 months and didn't play much of it. But that's because it was Wrath of Cortex. Because that game wasn't great. That game felt like it was a tie into a cartoon that never existed.
That's such a specific way of describing a game. I've never played
Yeah.
this game and I don't know the Crash Bandicoot franchise well, but like I feel like I understand what you mean.
Yeah, but like it's kind of the like the Crash Bandicoot games on the PS2 have like in the same way like a licensed game often has. It feels like there's like not enough scope for what they actually want to do with the game. Or like, I mean, the difference between the like Wrath of Cortex is just like a kind of like a simpler in scope and ideas, and feels a bit like it's more like the tone of the game and like how sparse some of it is. Whereas like Twinsanity is, oh, we've ran out of time and money for a lot of this, so it has that same sort of feeling with like dealing with like a tight deadline on everything that most adaptations do. And then like the subsequent games after that feel like licensed games, specifically because like the way they do characters feels so much like something out of an animated sitcom.
I mean, that's probably something to be said there about like the debt of the original Crash Bandicoot games to that kind of cartoon. Like,
oh yeah. I mean, it's still. I mean, like the thing about like Crash Bandicoot and like, I mean, it's like made in tandem with like that style of like 90s like animated cartoon with like Klasky Chupo would be working on or whatever. And I mean, they hire the same music people. Is like like Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo, his company did a lot of like Nickelodeon shows, and they do Crash Bandicoot and the Jack games as well. And they're very much pulling from that kind of like. I mean, the Jack games are from transitioning from that style of cartoon into cinematic games. Like it's not
Yeah.
just like they decide to make Uncharted a cinematic game. Like there's a transitional period. The transitional period is awkward Grand Theft Auto clone.
Video games.
Phew, and it's Lord Fang of the Twins. Woo!
Hooray!
I never did get very far in Jak 2, but it's because I was playing it on the Vita, which is unplayable.
Where's this crocodile? And by crocodile, I mean frog.
I like how Weiss was like, yeah, Emil's acting up. Probably don't stray too far from him, but Emil will literally just teleport to catch up with me at any point.
I think the frog is here. There we go.
Froggy.
They changed the triangle attack on the spear, and it feels weird now.
Oh. I'm like always doing heavy attacks in that game.
I will keep casting the spell, friends. Of the hunts that you get at this stage of the game, this is the one that you're kind of supposed to do on the way. And the rest you just kind of leave. Although even this, like, this fucking frog has the move that doubles its level.
God.
Yep. Whoop.
Is that growing threat?
Yep.
I think it's extremely funny that they give Yasmet that. Like, why would you need to go any higher? You idiot dragon. Oh, cool, I got Combo Master.
Oh, hey! Yeah,
100 hits on these mooks.
I didn't get that trophy.
I got it on the boar in the ballroom on, like, my final loop. Because
I just did the like, if you just mash the square button on the spear, you just do a giant multi-jab combo, and there were like 12 like shades right in front of me.
Oh, and you got more. Nice.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it.
Agreed. A fucking maze. Right. Okay. Doesn't matter if I find dead ends because I can just go down them and get whatever's at the end of them.
Go back in my save and try and get that achievement or whatever.
Wait, is that the thing? Ah! The rare spawn appeared!
I also immediately got better magic power and attack power words than I had when I started part 1 or part 2 out of these shades.
Nice.
Oh.
It is not the Ares absolute bloodbath treasure gold mine.
Cross that one off the list. I think I've now done all the rare fish apart from the one that spawns from the quest.
Of course you go for the fish.
Mila's falling behind,
Fishing
is
is an
he?
important part of JRPGs.
I've literally never fished in Final Fantasy XII.
The fishing minigame in this is so weird. But, in fairness to it, it's the only reason that I ever learned the PlayStation button labeling scheme.
Oh.
It's just button sequences, and I never played PlayStation as a kid. Like all my games were Nintendo up until like I was in university. So
okay.
Square, triangle, circle, X was a complete mystery to me.
Yeah, no, I had my PlayStation when I was 10. So like, my PlayStation 2, sorry. But like, not to play like renowned, well-known games, just Dragon Ball Z Budokai at the time. And
Emil is not falling behind. He's about to teleport up to us. Chill out, Weiss.
I like how I just got as a reward from that quest the weapon that I already have equipped on Ash.
well done.
Useful
got two
quest
now.
rewards.
Got a spare. I'm sure that's how this works.
God, imagine. I mean, in the original version, it did because you just like there
You
was
equip the best on
on all
everyone.
three. I mean, I always went sword and shield for everyone though, so.
Oh god.
Until
I'm really,
late game.
I do genuinely want to give like the original version of the game a shot sometime.
It's good. It's thematically appropriate for everything to take ages. And
Yeah.
feel really sluggish, but also don't do it. Play this version.
I'm already playing this one.
Yeah.
But like, it's like, yeah, because I was thinking like the sphere grids, and like how you can have the expert sphere grids, and that just doesn't feel thematically appropriate to me in the way that the standard sphere grid does.
In 10, you mean?
Yeah.
I always went for the expert sphere grid.
But I feel like the way like the standard sphere grid works is it's more encompassing with how like these are characters that are slowly opening up to each other.
I can kind of see that.
I feel of it as less like a customization system and more like that. Like a narratively driven progression system. The customization driven one is the expert sphere grid.
Yeah.
And both of them become fell out the entire thing by
Yes.
the end game. So
Yeah. If you want to do the Dark Aeons.
I mean, even if you don't, even if you just want to absolutely clown on you, Yevon,
You can absolutely.
You don't
clown
actually
the
need
game
that much.
without editing the grid.
Yeah, you don't even need to get like that far into the grid.
I didn't say edit the grid. Just fill it out.
No, you don't even need to like get halfway through with a character. Like you can get them into
To be
like
fair,
one
everything
other
is
grid.
kind of pointless when you have trio of 999s.
Yeah.
Because alchemy is busted.
I do kind of want
Yeah,
to
or
play
even-
the game with like knowing how the speedrun strats go, because that's funny.
Yeah. But even if you just have like let's say you've done like at like one character's own sphere grid, and maybe you get like halfway into another, then you get some celestial weapons. You're good. You're fucking like can probably one shot bosses if you're using Aurons. Legit, actually, like the last Seymour fight, fucking near enough one-shotted him. And even before that, I was just doing ridiculous damage.
It's a pretty easy game to level out of the curve on.
I feel like that's most Final Fantasy games, though.
Yeah.
I think 10 is especially easy.
7 can get quite easy.
7 can, but also if you like last time I played 7, I just did the core game, and I ended up like 10 levels under.
Yeah, I was watching you do that, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I definitely.
Oh,
streamed
there's a
7.
big one in here.
I do think, but like it's one of those things where if you, because I was last time I was
made
playing
the
it, I was
elemental angry. Oh boy, run away.
actively trying to like be mindful of the systems at work in 7, and like also doing a bit of side stuff, but like not even spending a lot of time grinding. I just like had zero trouble with the Russia final bosses.
I got extremely dumped. And not even like bad luck dumped, straight up destroyed.
I mean, yeah, I know, I saw. But I was also trying to keep make sure like every single party member was like level with each other, and like everyone had decent equipment.
Yeah, you have to do a bit
So
of
it is,
grinding
like-
to manage that.
So just like, I do think like Final Fantasy, if you are just mindful enough of how like any of these systems works, they're just easy.
Yeah,
I
let's
know the
say-
easiest one.
13 breaks that pattern pretty
Yes,
hard.
it does.
You gotta be pretty aware of how the system works.
Yeah. If you find like the right pieces of equipment in 6, some of them through side quests, the like you can just trivialize large parts of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still have not beat 6 ever.
I only did it because like I made it like part of a project. If I didn't, like I've tried playing the game on its own and just fell off like several times. And to be honest, like
I'm being killed by an elemental.
I kind of don't fully understand why it's beloved. I mean, I do, but like I didn't find that game to be that great.
You compare it to what came before it, and the marketing that the games that came before it got relative.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Well, I mean,
the story of Final Fantasy is always a story of marketing. What the fuck?
yes,
My echo.
and I think
And also,
It
the
was-
exposure of the Western market was much more limited.
yes, that's true. But I liked 4 more than I did 6.
Yeah.
I was surprised how much I like 4. That game is really good.
Yeah.
I like that one. Probably one of my favorites now, actually. But like just seeing them in context, and like 4 is a big step up. But it's not like instant change. It is it does feel somewhat gradual. But I guess even in that context, there's a lot of like visual change, and like the fact that there's like a lot more stopping to do story scenes, which like
Yeah.
even Final Fantasy 2 has that, but like they're sparse.
I've never played 4, but I have played 3 on the monstrous DS port. And,
That
that's
was
a
the
real-
basis for all the other ports that exist now.
Yeah, that's a real bleak experience, that one.
I did the PC port, which now they put in like a speed up in it, which is actually not like a proper speed up. It's like an auto battle thing where it like will just do the thing you cast on the last turn and repeat
Oh,
that.
so it's Bravely Default.
Yeah, but doing that also speeds up the battle time and the animation, so like everything is so much faster. So if you want to level up jobs, you just guard for a whole turn and just have that repeat for a bit, so that you can drawing job points off the low level enemies, because of the way that you gain job points is ridiculous. Because it's purely based off of actions and nothing else.
Yep.
That reminds me that Bravely Default exists. I reminded myself that Bravely Default exists. That's a shame.
I liked that first game.
I could not get on with it. Not enough to actually finish it.
I mean, part of why I ended up really liking is partly to do with the finish of that game. So,
Yeah.
because I do feel like that game is a massive grind. But by the end of it, like actually working to like build a set of jobs which is effective on the final encounter is really fun.
I still have it.
Take these guys, I think.
I did drop off Bravely Second though.
Was Sakaguchi involved in the Bravely games?
No.
No.
There's because he's not. Sakaguchi's entirely with Mistwalker.
Right. Who was
he hasn't been involved.
Who was involved in those games?
I want to say it's like mostly a younger team. I want to say like someone bigger was involved in like the 4 Heroes of the Light. My instinct is Takashi Tokita. Was involved in like 4 Heroes of the Light. But maybe not. Yeah, he was the director. For anyone not familiar, Takashi Tokita is also the director for Chrono Trigger, Live Alive, and Parasite Eve. Also Chocobo Racing.
God, what a weird
and the Bouncer.
resume. What a weird resume.
And the DS remake of Final Fantasy IV.
Oh, it's time for Vor.
Oh boy. Everybody's favorite.
Number 6.
Nom 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 nom. Horsies, give me your carapaces. Are these horses technically insects if they have carapaces?
Okay, only magic. Ugh.
Considering the way we classify animals, maybe?
They only have 4 legs.
Oh, it stood up. Its head is spinning. That's no good. Get down here.
They're mammals that have carapaces.
I don't think so. But also, I think there are. I think like not everything that has a carapace is counted as an insect. So like, there are reptiles that have carapaces.
Yeah.
I may be talking out my
And
ass
like,
on that one.
It's like the idea of like how like fish is a weird classification for animal because there are some fishes that are more closely related to land animals than they are other fish.
Yes, there's no such thing as a fish.
Yeah.
The category of fish is broader than all other conventional animal categories put together.
Well, it's like the animal that like...
We're all fish, basically.
Yeah. The animal that evolved into the dolphin also evolved into the hippo.
That was an animal that made some good choices, all told.
Both those animals, both the hippo and the dolphin, are fucking dangerous.
Yep. That was a critter that knew how to look after itself. Chocobos.
I mean, I don't know about dolphins. They're the most vicious and sometimes cruel animals.
But they
I
are
suppose.
effective at looking after themselves, which is like the
That's
whole
true.
thing that evolution is supposed to be about. That's a berserk horse. Who made the horse berserk? That doesn't end well.
I always thought that
Valid to eat fingers and all.
the fucking forgot the director's name for a moment. I always thought the director of this game was a big fan of Berserk.
Quite possibly. God, I've been playing for an hour and 40. It really feels like this has been like 20 minutes at most.
It's just a good game to lose time to.
Yep. That MMO design.
Like, I feel like more so than any of the others, because it's got that MMO design, but it doesn't have the like overwhelming, like stretched out feeling an MMO can have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not so maximal.
Yes.
And it's always going somewhere, even if like a lot of the time you're going to be sat there thinking, where is this going? Because Varn is sat there thinking, where is this going?
I just think like the way things were paced in 11, I just feel so glacial compared to any other of these games.
Yeah, well, 11 is... Did 11 launch before WoW?
Yes, a couple years before.
It's part of the pre-WoW generation of MMOs where, like,
yeah,
it's all just, like, grind. There's no, like, narrative quest structure. Which, I mean lots of people don't like the how intrusive the story structure is in WoW, but
I mean,
you do always feel like you're doing
11 has a strong story structure. Like, there is a story quest to progress. And progressing that story quest also helps with like the progression itself. But I don't know how that compares to other MMOs at the time.
Well, like, the thing that is commented on with WoW particularly is, and it's a simple thing, but it makes a huge difference how you engage with the games, is that it introduced the idea of having a bloody great yellow exclamation point over the next person you need to talk to, or question mark. At least
Yeah,
as,
no.
At least as far as games in the West are concerned. Where's the hunt I'm looking for? That one. Few hunt map.
No, Final Fantasy XI has the whole thing of just like, well, you just need to know where to go. They're better now because like, but they've got other systems in place to sort of like, they don't like outright like go have a thing of like, here's the thing on the map where you go. It's like you can accept another quest in another system of quests to tell you, here's where the next story quest is, and the person you go to find it. But you'll still probably at some point need to look on a wiki to find out where you need to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's very I mean, 11 is very menu driven.
Right.
Like it feels like it's built for a controller.
I mean, it was.
Yeah, it was.
PS2 and all. And
yeah,
that PS2 internet connection. Oh.
But so that's kind of like, and you do need to use, you can use macros, and it's a lot easier to use macros. But yeah, People will try and tell you can do it solo. It's very hard. And requires more patience than is required for any single other Final Fantasy game.
Blimey. Do I want to buy a flame element sword, or am I ultimately going to regret that? Is the lower even
I tend to avoid elemental weapons if I can.
Okay, so the rod that I got a duplicate of is still at least one tier of weapons above the weapon that's available here. That feels a bit better. That's a bonus. Let's get that.
I'm going to summon giant hands and choke this snake to death. Crunch.
Nice. That's what video games are for. Choking snakes to death.
Excuse me?
So that you can make wine out of them.
Excuse me?
That's a callback.
Now Kanye's gonna wake up and go, "You look like shit."
Not in this version, she's not.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a shame, that one. It's a loss.
Yeah.
I need to get some more armor licenses.
God. I feel like just looking at the menu for this game very much illustrates your feelings on Balthier.
Yep. Where's Shields 3? God damn it. Oh, they're all over here. Lovely. Why does this game have so many different items in it? Too many things. Let's get Mystic Armor 4 and 5 and see where we're up to.
A long-running game and obligation for inclusion of a lot of things.
Well, it's mostly, again, it's the MMO DNA.
Yeah.
There's light armor. Lambent hats. What should Bash and Ash be wearing? They're also Mystic Armor. Isn't that fun?
I don't know whether I should look forward to all the Crystal Chronicles games. There's 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried because I didn't remember if I had the foresight to buy the WiiWare ones, but turns out I did.
Well, that's good? Question mark.
I remember my best friend in secondary school was really into the first one of those. I don't think he'd ever played a Final Fantasy game at the time.
I'm still mad that the redo of Crystal Chronicles 1 doesn't have fucking netplay.
What? It does.
Does it? Oh, did they add it?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It doesn't have couch co-op. Is the difference?
Huh.
It's so the way they fucked it up which is what people were mad about, is that it only progresses the story for the host.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yes. Well,
So
it wasn't
everyone
that it
else-
doesn't have Netflix. It's that you had the whole gap, the whole.
If you want to progress, if everyone wants to progress, they have to do everything 4 times.
I love Monster Hunter Generations and everything earlier.
God.
Oh, that's right. I have to talk to somebody here. I think.
I have finally reached the beginning of the loop. Wow, a gold moonflower seed. Thank you, random shelf.
I should get back to Monster Hunter.
How many of the elders do I need to speak to? I don't remember. Ah, this guy. That's right. I remember.
Anyway, I am going to head off.
Okie doke.
So, have a good one.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thanks for the stream.
Good night.
Bye.
My plan is to do one more hunt and then call it for the evening.
I am probably gonna duck out and go get some food in me before I also stream.
Ah, yes.
So-
You're streaming more Isaac tonight, right?
Yup. The appetite ruiner.
It's alright, I've already eaten.
Good. I don't mean to ruin appetite. I'm just not bothered by that game's aesthetic in any palpable terms. So,
I'm normally not. There's just so much of it.
yeah,
Like, so
Ugh.
much goop.
that's fine. So much goop and gore and blech. All right,
Hey,
I'm gonna head out.
buddy.
Later.
Ugh. Man, a lot happened in that conversation that I kept meaning to call back to and didn't. One of these warriors I need to talk to. You, I think. Going finding, detests the woo. You need to kill all the woo. Leave and re-enter. That's right. So we'll do this hunt, and then basically at that point it's a bit of a grind. A bit of grinding is needed before we move on. So I'll do some grinding off stream, because tomorrow Lexi and I think, are going to start Operation Tango, which is a co-op game. And I don't actually know how you play it. Like, the only bits of trailer that I've seen are like cinematics, not the actual mechanics. So I don't really know what I'm getting myself into. And Lexi's probably going to yell at me a lot because that's a thing that happens. But it should be pretty entertaining. And as mentioned earlier, it's my birthday on Sunday. I might do a thing. I haven't entirely decided. I might just give myself the night off, because there's a whole bunch of VTuber bollocks on Saturday night that I kind of want to stay up for. So I might be completely frazzled on Sunday. We shall see. Might just get myself a nice takeout and stuff my face. Horsies, give me your shells. I need horse shells. Welcome to FF12, where the horses have shells. And we make wine from snakes. Eventually. Definitely not ready to try and kill the wine snake yet. First, though, we must kill all these birdmen. There are a lot of them. Technically, it's not actually these birdmen we need to kill. It's the birdmen down here that we need to kill. But it helps to be sure. It's really funny, the plot of this quest is there's a monster that we need to hunt, and it doesn't like the woo, the birdmen. So you have to kill all the birdmen in this area to get it to appear. But the birdmen are not that imposing. They gang up on you a bit. They're not that imposing. Is that all of them? I think that's all of them. Yep. Okay, so birdmen, not that imposing. Back in. And this is the thing that's scared of the birdmen. Please stop kicking my healer. Also, don't restore. That really sucks. It is a bit of a jip. The hunt's starting to have 50% heals this early in the game. Come on. Restore twice. And now it's Berserk. So that's fun. I really like the Berserk status effect in this game, the way it looks. Just the model turning absolutely incandescent blood red. There we go. Herbs acquired. Someone just set that trap off. No? Okay. So we go back to Megarith and do the plot cutscene there. And then it'll be time for grind. And not interesting grind either. Time for run around in a bunch of deserts grind. Maybe also a jungle. Where am I going? Maybe this way. Oh, on the subject of there being like a mountain of RPGs coming out, nobody mentioned Scarlet Nexus this time, which I'm still very much looking forward to. I have played the demo a few times now, and it's a lot of fun, but there are two characters in the demo, and one of them I really enjoy playing, and the other I completely suck at. Because one of them like has some range and can keep some distance from enemies, and the other one is a close quarters fighter, and the dodge just isn't quick enough for my reflexes. And I just get owned constantly. So I'm hoping that I can mostly play as the girl, because I feel like I understand how to play her. Also, because girls. Where's the dude? There's this dude. Hey, buddy, I did the thing for you. The Garif really aren't impressed by Humes. It's quite funny. Who's got licenses for the gold armlet? Vaughn has. Where is it? Is it 8? No, 7. No, 6. Bash has. I think Ash has already got one equipped. Does anybody have the gold armlet equipped? No. Golden amulets are such a big deal in the original game. The limiting of the license boards means that it's just less of a thing. Because it's less possible to just get the really powerful licenses early and run with it. Anyway, these are the
this nethicite.
Problematic Native American stereotypes.
It was not I who used it. Indeed, I had hoped you could show me how. Thus I've come.
You do not know the workings of the stone. Then we are no different.
What?
This is a cool camera transition, though.
In ages past, the gods made a gift of nethicite to my people. But the manner of its use eluded us. Displeased by our failure, the gods took back their stones. They chose instead to give them to a Yum king.
So what we learn here is that somehow it's humans who are uniquely equipped to use nuclear weapons, which is a really interesting point for the game to make.
The blood of King Wraithwall flow through your veins. You cannot wield nethicite.
Cannot wield it. So then, am I to understand you can't tell me how to use the stone?
Though it shame me so to admit, here before me stands a descendant of the Dynast King himself, and I can accord her no help at all. Still, even if you knew how to use the nethicite,
and this is the key point,
you would find it of small avail.
This one doesn't work anymore.
The mist collected in the stone over ages past is lost, and with it, the stone's power. It will be your posterity who wield the stone in ages yet to come.
But there are other stones.
This stone is devoid of power, empty, yet full of thirst, a terrible longing to drink the world dry. The power of men and of magic.
It is interesting to think about what use of these weapons is implied about King Wraithwall and the Galtean Alliance, the background of this. Because it's one of those things where
Larsa?
Where FF Tactics doesn't have the answers. Like it's an alternate past. Anyway.
To Baromi says.
I say we ought leave tomorrow. I was going to wait for my escort to return, but meeting you here has presented a great opportunity.
Anyway, the boy has showed up.
Can be stopped, but I will need your help to do so.
Again.
A war?
You know the Marquis Ondor leads a group of insurgents. Your pardon. He leads a large resistance force against the Empire.
change of phrasing there is so is such a fine detail.
Can afford this now. The Rosarian Empire would stir. They would aid the resistance and use this aid as a pretext to declare war on Arcadia.
This is such a
Arcadia would have
finely
no choice but to
grained,
answer.
like, American rationale for
Lady
the
Ash, let us
for
go to Ber Omases.
Japan
With the
to
blessing of His
continue
Grace,
to
the Grand
work with
Curtius Anastasis,
the American
you may
military.
rightly wear your crown and declare the restoration of the kingdom of Dalmasca. As queen, you can call for peace between the Empire and Dalmasca and stop Marquis Ondor.
For peace? How dare you say that? The Empire attacked us, stole all we hold dear, and you would have me save them from war?
Dalmasca would be the battlefield. What if Nethicite were used on Rabanasta? You know my brother would do this.
We might nuke you, so please
Forgive me.
cooperate with us.
I presumed overmuch. I could think of no other way to avoid bloodshed. If you cannot trust me, then please take me as your hostage.
Rassler.
You saw him, didn't you? Like at the king's tomb.
So you did see him too. But why?
This is kind of a red herring, this
It's
scene.
strange.
They kind of drop the thread of this as the game
Before.
goes on.
I didn't even know what you looked like. And the prince? I barely knew there was a prince.
This is important in terms of stating
Who
how the
knows? Maybe the person I saw was my brother.
Bosch
story
told me about
unfolds.
him.
He enlisted right at the end. But for what? He knew he couldn't win.
To protect something.
How could he protect anything when he's dead? Was it different for Prince Rassler? Did that make sense?
Does the death
Hating
of a
the
prince
Empire,
mean anything
getting
more than the
revenge,
death
it's all
of
I ever thought
a
about.
pauper?
But I never did anything about it. I mean, I realized there was nothing I could do.
The stars probably twinkle a bit more than is necessary.
Alone.
That's something that hasn't survived the
And
transition to HD too
I
well.
miss my brother. I'd say stuff like, I'm gonna be a sky pirate, or some other stupid thing. Just anything to keep my mind off it. I was running away.
God, the stars
I
really
needed
are
to get
behaving
away
like
from his
Christmas
death.
lights.
That's why I followed you. You know what? I'm through with it. I'm through running. I'm ready to find my purpose.
I'm ready to find my purpose. I have no idea what that means or how to do it.
If I stick with you, I think I will.
I wish I knew.
I'll find him.
It's almost romantic. Tsukigakure desu ne, and all that.
I will accompany you to Mount Baromises.
I had hoped you'd say yes. I'm glad.
My heart is not set. I still have questions. I hope
Hey,
to find
tomb has been
answers
raided.
along
And then everything we stole from it was robbed from us in turn and blew up.
Who is that?
Um,
An enemy, and an ally also. You will just have to.
And then
wait
I mostly
and
just
see
ran
for
around in the
yourself.
wilderness for 2 hours. I'm about to wrap up the stream, but thanks for stopping by.
That Larsa likes secrets.
He does not mean ill by it.
He's not bad. At least for an Imperial.
I mean, technically, like, we're not stealing it because it is Ash's birthright. On the other hand, she's
at the northern end
a
of the
queen,
Yacht Remuda.
so
Once we're in Yacht, we need not fear pursuit by their airships.
Don't get your hopes up. You remember
I like how this cuts from like Vaughn and Ash and Pinello to these three, and these are like the adults in the room.
You know, Nethersight's behind it. Little wonder they're so keen on the stuff.
And what is it you're after, Balthier? You're a welcome hand and a great aid, but why?
Worried I'm out to steal the Nethersight, eh?
When Balthier and Fran definitely aren't
Can't say
the
I'm
adults in the
accustomed
room
to people
ever.
doubting my intentions. Nothing could be further from my mind. Shall I swear by your sword or some such?
Apologies, but I needed to know where you stand. Her Majesty depends on you, and you seem to have an interest in the stone.
I'm only here to see how the story unfolds. Any self-respecting leading man will do the same.
He basically admits that he's not actually involved in the story there. What a fucking dink. I just realised they animated some fish in the river there. I've never noticed that before. The level of detail they put into this game is absurd. What does he give us? Randomly a crossbow. He's a dweeb. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. Tomorrow I'm streaming co-op hacker 2-player nonsense with Val. Sorry, with Lexi. Which I don't know how that's going to go. It's going to be weird. It's the most co-op-y game we've ever played together, so things might go horribly wrong. There'll probably be lots of yelling, but hopefully it'll be entertaining. But yeah, that's it for tonight. Thanks for the company. Good night.